First, let's pay homage to the Venerable Monk Liao Ming. Homage to Master Sakya Kong. Homage to the 16th Dharma King Karmapa. And homage to Master Thupten Dorji. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. And homage to the main deity of group practice today. Is the ultimate object of my refuge. We pay homage to the Buddha Mother Mahachundi. Simu, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, the heads of temples, all disciples present here and over the internet. Our guest of honor today, the wife of the Secretary General Liao from the Coordination Council of North America of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Republic of China, Dharma Sister Judy. Accountant to the True Buddha Foundation, Dharma Sister Teresa. Producers for the Illuminating Your Heart TV program of CTI TV Taiwan, Dharma Sister Rebecca. The wife of the head of director of the Overseas Credit Warranty Fund of the Republic of China, Dharma Sister Vivian Sit. And the attorney to the True Buddha Foundation, Dharma Sister Jennifer Zhou. Dr. Dzogchen. And Dharma Brother Gao Ming Lu. Good evening, everyone. How do you do? How are you, everyone? How? Domo konbanwa. Good evening in Japanese. And in Mandarin. Today we have the practice of Mahachundi Buddha Mother. And in the past, I had talked about the Guru who transmitted Mahachundi practice to me, Master Pu Fang, that his Yidam, main deity, was Mahachundi Buddha Mother. He built a temple called the Zhongci Temple in Taipei. In an island called the Sezi Island, Sezi Dao. Is it considered an island? Yes. So Master Pu Fang, Grandmaster, has a lineage from Master Pu Fang and received the Dharma transmission of Mahachundi Buddha Mother. And Grandmaster also has Mahachundi Dharma practice procedure and had practiced it. So Mahachundi is also called the Buddha Mother of the Seven Koti. That there are many Buddhas who were born from Mahachundi Buddha Mother. So she is considered to be a great Buddha Mother, and she is considered to be of the family Kuan Yin or Lokeswara, Avalokiteswara Bodhisattva. So that's why sometimes she's also called Mahachundi Lokeswara. So a Bodhisattva from the Lokeswara court. There are many people who focuses on Mahachundi Dharma practice, and her Vajra name is the pure Vajra. So this Buddha Mother has 17 arms and 17 hands. 18 arms, and she has great Dharma power, and also subjugation power is extremely huge. So that's why Mahachundi Buddha Mother can be considered as a yidam and a protector. So this is rather special. Only few that can be considered as both a yidam and a protector. And Mahachundi can be considered both. So there had been many introductions or teachings about Mahachundi before. So that's the end of the introduction today. Now we will continue to talk on the Great Perfection Dharma. So, what I would like to talk about today is the ground of the Great Perfection Dharma. As we know, the infrastructure of the whole universe consists of the earth, water, fire, wind, and space or void. And the space or void also represents the empty nature and the Buddha nature. And the earth is represented by the bones, the flesh in our body, the muscles. They are all considered to be earth. And water is the blood inside our body, and hormones and light drops, all the fluid. And the fire is the original, the intrinsic temperature of our body. And the wind or air, by the power of the wind, we breathe, and by the power of the air, we energize the whole body. That's wind. And the space or void is the hidden consciousness. And the Buddha nature and the empty nature are all considered to be space or void. So today we will talk about the earth, or the earth element of the Great Perfection Dharma. As we all know, Sakyamuni Buddha meditating under the Bodhi tree and gained enlightenment. First, the earth split up, and the Prithvi Deva, earth god, made offering to the Buddha, appeared from the earth and made offering of precious treasures. And also the many jewels Buddha appeared from the great earth to praise the Tathagata for his great attainment. So at that time, the first one who appeared was from the earth, the Prithvi earth god. And the earth represents the solidity or strength, robustness, that the earth is immovable, immobile, and very strong. So on earth, the thing that is considered most solid or strong is the earth. And inside the earth there are all the metals like the gold, silver, bronze, copper, and many more. And also the sariras are also from the mines, from the earth, and the plants also grow from the earth. Everything has to rely on the earth. So the great perfection Dharma practitioner also has to practice the earth. Once you have fruition or attainment in this earth practice, you would be immovable. But actually we know that the earth can also move, like in the case of earthquake. So sometimes we think, what should we buy to maintain our assets? So we buy real estate property. In Chinese it's called the immovable property. But actually these days we can call it the movable property, because even the houses or the earth can move in earthquake. But in general, the earth element is still the most solid. Let me share a joke with everyone, because everyone is so quiet now. So Xiaoming is dating to find a wife for 101st time, 101st time. And he told the girl, I don't know how to talk. And the girl said, don't worry, just say it. And then he said, you're like Chang-Er, which is the moon goddess on earth. So the girl was really happy and smiling very wide. So you speak very nicely, don't you? And yet Xiaoming continued, but it's a pity when you came to earth, your face hit the earth first. So the moon goddess hit her face first on the ground. So her face was all broken. That's why the girl threw water at him. So the earth is very solid. Actually, you can see this in the televisions, that many people, because of depression or too much stress, they can't live on. So they climb on top of a high rise and jump off. So they die 9 out of 10. but sometimes they die 100 out of 100. They die when they jump off a tall building. Why? Because the earth is very solid. So when a human body hit the earth, then your whole body would be broken to pieces. That's really sad. But for Buddhists, doesn't matter how low or how deep you fall, you cannot finish your own lives. You can't end your own life because you have Buddha nature inside you. Not only you kill your own life, you also kill the Buddha nature, your wisdom lies, your chance for Buddhahood. So not only you kill your own life, you also kill the wisdom life or the Buddha's life. So Buddhists hold the view that no matter what, we cannot commit suicide or kill ourselves. So that's why last time I taught all of you to learn Grandmaster about what? About not wanting his own face. Why don't we want our face? Why is it that we are allowed not to have face? Because when we forget about our own face or our reputations, if you forgot about your own names, you would become empty nature, and that is Buddha nature. So what else do you have? Nothing. The earth, water, fire and wind, these elements, when they disintegrate, you have nothing left. So what is reputation at that time? There are many people who would like to leave their names in this world. There is a saying in Chinese that when the tigers die, they leave their skin, but when people die, they leave their names. But not very many people can do that. There are only very few. So of course, you could feel very lucky if you could if you could leave your name. But for most people, they can't leave their names. There are many famous people, but after they die, gradually they become forgotten. Maybe a few sages or few kings have their chances to leave their names. Otherwise, they have no names left. Maybe it is best not wanting any of those names or face. The earth is so solid and so strong. And how do we learn the earth of this great perfection Dharma? Let me give you two examples. I've told you this before. Once I went to Malaysia at the hotel in Penang. I gave Dharma teachings there. And it was publicized that I was giving Dharma teaching in Penang. So those who mastered black magics are mostly in Indonesia and Malaysia. There are lots of black magicians there. So they can perform black magics. And one of them thought, there is this Sheng-Yen coming here to Penang giving Buddha Dharma teaching, and he is one of the most famous black magicians there, and Sheng-Yen Lu did not visit me when he comes to Penang and giving Dharma teaching. So he thought we should give him a lesson so that he knows how great I am, thought the black magician. So he cast black magic on me. Prior to the Dharma teaching that evening, he cast the spell. He sent 7 ghosts with green face and sharp fangs. 7 of them came to visit me. And as I entered into my room, something's not right in the air. Grandmaster has the feeling just from the air. It's something very questionable. And I breathed another air. I could feel the negative energy. You know, in the martial artist, like the Japanese or wherever, when they get to a place, they would know. They could feel the negative forces. You could feel it. So when I encountered that, I thought, fine, okay, let's play with it. So first I formed the mudra. You know, in Tantrayana, there's this mudra, the 3-prong Vajraceptor mudra. And when you lay down, you're like this, the head is here, the 2 arms, the body, that's the head, 2 arms, 2 legs, and the middle one here is too long. Like 3 legs here, and the body's here, head and 2 hands, and you form this mudra. It's very easy, and you do it while lying down or standing up, either one. So it's like this. 2 palms join at the top of the head, and my legs you cannot see. So it's like the ballet dancing, pointed, or the 2 knees are slightly bent and standing in a standing posture, and you bend your knees slightly. That's the Vajraceptor mudra. And the Vajraceptor represents the solidity, the indestructibility. So you form this mudra, and then you recite the mantra. By saying Lang, your body is inside amidst the fire, and you burn all of your body. And with Yang, there would be a breeze. And with Kang, you become empty. So with Lang, Yang, Kang, you become empty. And when you form this mudra, your bones and muscles would form the Vajra scepter lying on bed. So that's how you protect yourself. With Lang Yang Kang, you empty your body and you become a Vajra scepter and you enter into sleep, in the sleep of lights. Sleep amidst the light. So at that time, the 7 ghosts could see a person laying there. So they start to bite on your feet, both feet, and bite the body and the head and the legs and the arms. 7 ghosts for 7 parts. 2 hands, head, 2 legs, a shoulder leg and body. So the 7 ghosts bite at the same time, but they broke their teeth. Yeah, when you bite on this, you would definitely break your teeth. Grandmaster can chew on a sugar cane. Grandmaster is 70 years old. And I swallow the juice. and the leftover. Just give it to someone. Grandmaster can chew on the sugar cane, but many people who are rather old, they cannot chew on the sugar cane anymore. When I was young, there's that carriage that carry the sugar canes, and the little kid, we would grab one and then pull it, and then we just kind of wipe it, and then we use our teeth to peel the outer skin of the sugar cane, and then we start to chew on it. When my mom saw that, she called us, and how come you steal other people's sugar cane? Come here, let me get a piece. That was when we were young. You can't steal other people's sugar cane. Come over here and let me have a bite. So the ghost bit and cried because all their teeth broke. And they went back to the black magician and reported it did not succeed. This person has a really high skill. When the master shows, you would know how good his mastery is. And the next day, the ceremony is filled with people. So just now, I have taught you a Dharma to protect yourself. When you go to sleep, form this mudra, the mudra of the 5-pronged Vajra scepter. And this scepter here is the open prong, the 3 open prong Vajra scepter from the Japanese Tantrayana. And this is the Tibetan Tantrayana, the 5-prong Vajra scepter. Actually, it's the same, with 2 hands like this and 2 feet like this, and you would become the 5-prong Vajra scepter or the 3-prong Vajra scepter. It's the same, either one. When you form this mudra and recite Lang Yang Kang, you visualize yourself to become Vajraceptor. So that's the protection during sleep, the protection Dharma practice during sleep, to make yourself strong. So that was the first Dharma practice. Now the second.
这个笑话是爸爸，你闭上眼可以写字吗？
This is a joke. Dad, when you close your eyes, can you write? And the dad answered, depends what I want to write. Can you write your own name? And he said, of course. That's good. And the kid said, why don't you close your eyes and sign your name? And the dad asked, what is this? It's my report card. The kid is really smart. Can you write when you close your eyes? So Grandmaster now is teaching you Dharma practice, and you need to be able to absorb the teaching. Don't fall asleep closing your eyes. And in a moment, the teaching on the Vajraceptor protection Dharma practice has passed. You need to open your eyes and listen carefully. Second, Grandmaster in his sleep, when Grandmaster wants to go to a place and to check on a disciple, Grandmaster can do that. Not long ago I said this. I closed my eyes and my body would sing. Isn't the earth very solid? And you can transform to become earth, so earth can join with the earth. If you become earth, then you can enter into the great earth. I remember one time it was like this. I can pass through the glass and the wall. I can pass through the wall. If you can pass through the wall, then you can pass through the earth. At that time, I felt myself like sinking into the great earth, to the center of the earth, and the body would rotate like the compass. And after revolving a few times, you can point to that country, and then you start to float out from the earth, and you would be at that country. And very fast, you would be able to reach the place of that person. And then you would be able to enter into the dream of this person and talk to him or her, or teaches them, or appear for them to see. This kind of thing can happen. This second Dharma practice, to enter into the great earth and move inside the earth. This kind of Dharma practice is called the earth moving. According to what we did when we were young, we grab a handful of sand and throw it into the air, then you enter into the great earth. Say, like in the ancient time, there are there's the moats around the castle that you cannot pass through. Then you use this earth travel, you grab a handful of sand, throw it into the sky, and you move inside the earth, and then you can pass through the gate, the city gate. So this is called Tu Dun in Taoism. And Bodhidharma, the first patriarch of Zen Buddhism in Taiwan, used this, Tu Dun and Mu Dun. So it's like traveling through the woods to pass through the coffin and use the earth travel to return to India. And as he passed by Tibet, he met Milarepa and Machilabdron and transmitted a Dharma practice called
那时候他在西藏的名字叫什么？莲万上师。
Musali。
当巴双节，当巴双节，帕，他多了一个帕，当巴双节，就是达赖，就是那个达摩祖师。
He's referred as the name
帕当巴双节。
and he had a sect there. It's called the Chok tradition, and the concept is the same as Zen. So in Tibetan Buddhism, there is Zen. And in Zen Buddhism, there's great perfection. It's because of Tangpa Sangje went to Tibet, and the four sects of the yellow, white, red, and Sakya learned this tradition. And Tangpa Sangje transmitted to his consort, which was Machik Lapdron, which is the sacrifice Dharma practice, which I had taught before too. And in the future, I will teach this Dharma practice again. So, Pa Dhamma Tangje was Bodhidharma in Tibet. So that showed that Bodhidharma could escape, flee, or travel through the woods and through the earth. And very fast he could return to India and could go to Tibet and back to India and back to Tibet to transmit the Bodhidharma, the Chot tradition. And his consort was Machilabdron.
那师尊啊，这个方法当然。
And so this method is something that you would be able to do after you master the earth Dharma practice. And how do you learn the earth Dharma practice? I wrote it here in my book, in the earth division of the Great Perfection Dharma, to become the Prithvi earth. So the earth Dharma, you need to be able to find the energy point, or it's called the San Ling and San Yin energy points that are on the sole of the feet, and you need to point to that energy points. And the mantra,
An Zhe Ni, Jili Sa, Ni Sa, Dali, Ha Ha, Si Si, Chilu, Wa Sa.
That was the mantra that was transmitted to me by Guru Padmasambhava when he empowered my souls and pointed to my energy points, called San Di Xue and San Yin Xue.
也就是筋骨外沿一横指处。另外有一
So
些
the
必
three
须
finger
要
points,
是点在
finger
三阴
width
切，
below and one finger width
就是
below.
在右手的大拇指点压右小腿内侧的三阴穴，要点2分钟。如果
So
感
you
觉
need
到
the
酸
thumb
麻
to
胀
point
死，
at the
这个
energy
效果
point
就
San
很
in
好。再用
Xie for 2
左手
minutes,
大拇指
and
点
if you
压
felt
右
numb
小
and
腿三阴
tingling,
穴，
that's good.
三阴穴位于内脚髁间，直
And
上
you
4横
press
指
on
经
the
后沿
other
处，
leg.
这个是属于，然后再加持咒语，是属于点穴的作用。
So this is
点穴
pointing
你
to
必
the
须要
energy
点那个脚
points, and
髁
then you recite the
外脚
mantra.
髁、内脚髁，要点，一个是三阴
So
穴，一个
the
是三阴穴，
So
点
the
了以
points
后，
on your foot,
然后再
the
加持这个咒语，
the upper and the inner,
接着观想你
and
的脚
then
底下
you
化
will
为一
empower it, and you visualize that underneath your feet
这一
there's
朵
a
莲
lotus
花。
blossom.
你如果经常这样子修行的话，
If you practice this
运
frequently
到了三里穴
and you
跟三
move
阴
your
穴，
energy to
这
the
个时候
San
再
Li
点
Xue
下去，
and San Yin Xue,
然后再持
and
这个
then
咒
you point to those
脚
energy
底
points and
观
recite the
想
mantra.
化为一朵莲花，这一朵
And you
莲花
visualize
就是你自
underneath
己
the
的
feet is a lotus blossom, then this lotus would be
这个时
yours.
候啊，你就可以有神行法，
And
会产
at this
生一个
time,
神行法
there would be a
这是地
travel,
本身的一个作用，地
soul
本身的作
travel
用。
Dharma practice.
你
This is
修
the
行
function
了
of the
大圆
earth.
满的地步，整
So
个大地
once you
几乎都是你。
practice the
你
earth
如果
division
学
of
会了
Dharma
禅定，
great perfection Dharma
你就
practice,
变成一
then
座
the
西明
earth
山，
belongs to
一
you.
座西明山。
If you learn to meditate,
这
then
个
you would
西明
become
山
Mount
在地
Sumeru.
球地的上面，
And Mount Sumeru is on top of the earth,
坚固的矗立在那。
very solid, erect over there.
这个方法好像很简单，
This
但是
method
事实上
seems
很
very
难。
easy, but actually it's very difficult.
找一下那个针灸师，什么是叫做三
So you can find, you can ask the acupuncturist and ask
做平
what
气
is
的
the
时候，
San Li
把气
and
运
San
到了
Yin
脚，到
points,
了
and then you use the treasure vase
都
energy
通的时候，到了三里
when
穴，那时
all
候
the channels are open and flowing, and move the energy to the San
就
Yin
坐在那个
Xie,
莲花上面。
and you
你自己
become,
如果坐在大地
there
上
would
面，
be a
就
lotus
变成一
blossom
个
and
西
you
明
sit
山
it on the lotus blossom, and then if you're sitting on the great earth, then you would become Mount
从
Sumeru.
前有一对情侣，他们遇到了死神，
There was
死
a
神说
lover
你
that
们两
met
个人只
the
做活一
god
个
of
给
death,
人差遣吧。
and the god of
输的
death
就是
said, one of you must die.
最后
So
女
why
孩子
don't you, why don't you
这个
play
男孩子
the
抱着死去的女孩说：“ 亲爱的，说好一起出
you know, the
石
hand
头
things, and the
为什
girl,
么我除了剪
it's
刀，
like paper,
你却
rocks,
出
and
了布？
scissors. And the girl lost, and the girl asked, you know, we have
男孩子本来要牺牲的，
talk about being rocks,
结果女
but
孩
how
子你
come?
看，大家说好出石头，
And
女
we
孩
have
子就想
agreed
我出这个，
to
男孩子是出剪刀，
to do rocks, but the girl said the paper, and the man threw out the scissor.
还是女孩子心比较细，
So the girl is more,
男孩子心比较
Careful
粗，
and the man
男
is
孩子
rather
愿意牺
careless,
牲，女
and
孩
the
子却
man
要活命。”
is ready to sacrifice himself,
这跟
and the
地有
girl
什么关系？
wants to live on. So what is that joke related to the earth?
师尊的脑袋是比较粗。
Grandmaster is rather
也不会那么
easygoing
或者是一个老实
and
实实在在老实。
carefree and very honest.
我都想哭了，因为
I feel like crying
被很多的弟子欺骗，被欺骗了
because I'm easily
怎么会骗我呢？
cheated
怎么
or
可能
lied to, and then later on when I found out, how come they lied to me?
他只
She
是
said something
他
really
一生都是
nice,
生活中的弟子，他讲过。
and she said that all her life she would be a good disciple of True Buddha school and never left. She would never betray Grandmaster, and she would practice True Buddha Tantric Dharma all her life, and she had made a vow. And it turned out that she lied. Oh, so pitiful. Grandmaster believes whatever other people say. Before she left, she bowed and kneeled and said, "Your Dharma practice is very good. And Grandmaster, you transmitted this very special Dharma practice. I'm very grateful." And there are tears in her eyes, and she said that I will never harm Grandmaster. But only a few years later, she turned her back like this. Oh well, Grandmaster just let you be cheated. If those were material things, then maybe Grandmaster wouldn't even have anything left. We could never have the mind or the heart to harm others, but you have to have the mind or heart to protect yourself. That's for you, but for Grandmaster don't have the mind or the heart to harm others, and Grandmaster would never try to protect himself from others either. There's no need to be afraid to be harmed by others, because Sakyamuni Buddha said that everything is impermanent, not just the body, but the mind and the heart too. There's a joke about that here, about the ever-changing heart. This is about impermanence. Deep in the night, one night, the daughter called her mom and cried, "Mom, he's not back yet. He must have a mistress outside." And the mom tried to comfort her. "Don't worry, girl. Don't always think the negative sides. Maybe he's in an accident." That's an accident. So I often think like this. I often think for the disciples that these disciples had claimed that they would never betray True Buddha School, and they claimed that True Buddha School is very nice, very kind to them. They would never betray his teacher or her teacher. But they did betray. So I don't know what they're thinking. So they must have their own reasons. Maybe the teacher is the one that's not right. Maybe sometimes we just comfort ourselves that maybe they have better teachers teaching better practices. So we are not as good as them, maybe, so that's why they betrayed us. Well, that would be a good thing. So say if our money was stolen, or if we lost our money, there's also a benefit to that. We could say, well, at least someone get to use that money. It doesn't matter whether we use it or other people use it, because money is there for use. And there's a benefit that if someone finds the money, they would be able to get to use it. So that's fine. So for spiritual cultivators, we would think it's fine that we lose money. At least someone else get to use it. That's how we think. And like the great earth, the visualization is very important. Grandmaster taught you to practice the Qi, the treasure vase energy yoga. You need to practice the Vajra chanting. You need to practice the 9 cycle Buddha breathing. And you need to practice the non-leaking. You need to open the central channel and all the channels in your body. Then you would accomplish the attainment of your earth practice. That naturally your body would become solid, strong, and robust. And then when the Qi and the channels appear and combine with pointing on the energy points, the earth would be perfect. And your bones and muscles would become very strong, because the Qi can reach those areas, then they would become strong. Especially when you press acupressure on those acupoints, because the Qi rarely goes to the feet. But when you press on those acupoints or energy points, then the lotus would blossom naturally, then you would be able to travel out of body. And when you sit on the great earth, your whole body would become Mount Sumeru. Once when I was in Ballard, as I sat down, and when the Qi fills the whole body, the body is like Mount Sumeru, as strong as Mount Sumeru. And at that time, there are 2 flying ghosts with great power. And they said, we often travel by here and we never saw that there is a mountain here. I heard the ghosts talking. We often pass by here. We never saw a mountain before. When I was in the spiritual attic, meditating there in Ballard, there were 2 ghosts that could fly. And when they flew by, they saw a mountain, and then they said, how come there's a mountain here? Because in my meditation, I visualized myself to become the mountain, unmoved. So the ghost held an axe to chop on the mountain. because they
敲
wanted
成两段，
to
他们好飞行过去。
to split the mountain so that they could
他
fly,
就敲，一敲
because the
敲
mountain
不
was
动。
very tall. But they couldn't
原来自
break
己
the
本身
mountain.
的气脉通的时候，
It turned out
这个
that
气
when my
脉通了，
chi
它自然它就会
and
变成
channels
坚
are open, then naturally you would
气
become
走
very
到哪里，
strong
哪
and
里就
solid.
坚硬。
And wherever the
气
chi
走不到那里，
goes,
那
that
里
part
就
would become very strong and solid.
就好像
And
吹
the
气球
parts
一样，
that chi
你
cannot
气球
reach,
吹了，
it would
它就
become
变成坚硬。
limp,
你
like
没
a
有气
balloon.
了，它绝对是
When
软
the air is
我们骑
full,
脚踏车
the
要换
balloon
气。
becomes very hard.
你灌了气足
But
了，
without the
那
air,
个气
it
就很厉
becomes
害。
limp.
它走到
Also,
哪里
like
它都
the
会蹦蹦跳
bicycle
跳，它也不会
tires,
破掉。
doesn't matter where
轮子
you
全
ride,
部都是气
it would not
你的身
break.
体变成有气的时
The
候，你就
whole
很有力，很有
wheel
power。
is filled with air, becomes very
那就是整个
strong.
地的
It's
承
like
重。
when your body
你
is
身
filled
体
with
没有
air,
气，
it
你
would
就
become
软
very
了，
strong.
那你的肌肉
If
就
you
松
have
了。
no air or chi in your body, then you would
所
become
以
soft,
你要
and with
练
your
气的
muscle
话，
becomes
你
very
就练
loose
到整个
and
全
droop.
身变成心无善一样。
So in your chi
最后那
practice,
两
you
个
need
就绕着
to
我这个
train
山
until your whole body
然后
becomes
才能
like a
够走。
mountain area. Finally, the
这
two
样
ghosts had
拔
to
拔的时候
go around the
经历了
mountain.
这种事情。
So that was what happened.
所以莲华生大师教的
I
气
had that experience when I was in Ballard.
这个地步法，
Guru Padmasambhava
Deep
taught
Buddha.
this
里
chi
面找出
practice.
山里穴、山
So
里
you
穴
could，read this
让
great
气贯
perfection
通到
earth
那里，然
division
后点
Dharma practice.
点那个穴，点了穴
So
以后，
find that
再观想莲花
acupoints,
出来，以
you
后
know,
你就
when
可
the
以
chi
你就可
can
以神行。
flow to that area, then you can apply pressure on those acupoints, and the lotus blossom will naturally glow.
这个
And
应该
after
不是
that, you
很
would
好
be able
笑。
to travel.
不过讲一讲，在一个大饭店的餐厅里，有一个妇人一直
This
盯
is
着
not
附
very
近的一
funny,
个神
but
士，神士感到很
in the
尴
big
尬，接着就
hotel,
走过去
there
问
is a
神
lady that continued to
神
gaze
士
at
客
the
气地问
gentleman,
他，
and the gentleman
我们
felt
是否以前在什么
uncomfortable.
地方见过面？
So he kindly, politely went to the lady and asked, "Have we met before?" And the
可
lady
是你
replied,
的样子
"No,
很
never.
像我的第三任丈夫。
But you look very much like my
神
third
士就问
husband."
他，你
So
结
the
过三次
gentleman
婚吗？
asked,
夫
"Oh,
人
so you
回
have
答
been married
不，
3 times?"
只
And the
结过
lady
2次。
replied, "No, just twice."
那个夫人很厉害，这也是一个高手。
So the lady
小心
was
上当，
very smart. Be careful that you would be
结
hooked
过2次了，
by her.
已经是
She
很
had
厉
been
害。
married
那
twice
想还
before,
想结第3次。
and now she wanted to get married for
我
the
们
third
如
time,
果学
and he was the
地
target.
法成就的人，全
So if
身
you have
各个部分
attainment
都
in your
非
earth
常的
Dharma
刚强，
practice,
非常的硬，
all parts of your body would become very strong and hard.
师尊就很乐。为什么呢
And Grandmaster is very pleased. Why?
？70, 80,
Because
90，
at
我都可以接。
70, 80, or 90, I can still
但是
get
我不
married.
想，我不想活那么久了。
But I don't
你没
want to
看过
live that long.
我牵着平儿的结婚典礼，
Have you seen my wedding ceremony with
3岁
Ping Er? And Ping Er is 3 years old, and I'm
我等
70
她
years
15
old.
年，她18岁
And I'm waiting for her for 15 years,
我
and
8
she would be 18,
她
and I
如
would
果
be
那个时候还
85.
愿意嫁给我，
If at that time she's still wearing to be
我
married
也
to
愿意娶
me,
她了。
then let me think, I would be willing to marry her.
哎，因为你气如果能够充满到各个地方，
Because if your chi can
你
fill
就全身
all
地
parts
就
of your
坚固。
body, then the earth of your body would be solid and strong. This is a Vajra scepter with 2
一个身体，
hands,
这
a
两
head,
只脚，
body, 2
中
feet,
间这一只。
and the middle this.
好了，说法结束。Om Mani Padme
That's
Hum.
the end of the Dharma teaching. Om Mani Padme Hum.